Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to USTA Florida's Here to Serve podcast. My name is Laura Bowen. I'm the Executive Director of USTA Florida. I have two very special guests joining me today. They've been here before, but we can have them back time and time again because they are so good. First up, we have Dana Andrews. Dana is the current president of USTA Florida. Thank you for joining us, Dana.
Thank you, Laura. Always good to be here.
And joining Dana today is Donn Davis, who is the current president of the USTA Florida Section Foundation. So thank you, Donn, for joining us.
You're more than welcome. Thanks for having me.
So we wanted to do a podcast today on a topic we've been getting a lot of questions about and is certainly top of mind here in Florida. And that is what we're doing to help those who are most impacted by Hurricane Ian, which happened just about a month ago. So Donn, I thought I'd start with you. You actually live in Punta Gorda, and that's really close to where Hurricane Ian came ashore. Could you give us a basic idea of how much impact the hurricane had on Southwest Florida and maybe why it's important for our foundation to help?
Sure. Well, it did come ashore right around Punta Gorda. Actually, landfall was at Cayo Costa Island, but this was a very powerful and very large storm. The impact area really is slightly north of Tampa all the way to Marco Island, which would include Bradenton and Brandon and Sarasota, Punta Gorda, Fort Myers. Fort Myers Beach was devastated. The islands around the area were devastated. So it had a tremendous amount of impact when it came ashore. But additionally, it was such a big storm and powerful storm, it crossed the state and impacted places like Orlando and Daytona Beach and New Smyrna Beach. Even Miami got some of the outer bands. So this was a tremendously powerful and large storm that had a tremendous impact, obviously, on homes in the area and businesses in the area, but also what we care about, and that's tennis facilities. And so what we've done, Laura, at the foundation is we've reinstated a fund dedicated to help in a situation like this, our Hurricane Relief Fund. As a matter of fact, if anyone wants to donate to that fund, it's live and active right now. You can go to USTAFloridaFoundation.com/hurricane relief. I was just on it a few minutes ago. We already have over $100 in that fund. So that's what we're going to, that's just the start of USTA Florida helping with tennis facilities in hurricane relief.
That's so exciting, Donn, and thank you to you and the foundation for agreeing to reactivate that fund that we started with Hurricane Michael, and it gives us a way to really collect some funds. Dana, I wanted to turn to you for just a minute and ask, when you think about how important every tennis court is right now to our current tennis ecosystem, why is it important for our section to contribute to this fund and these overall efforts to help people recover?
I mean, I love this question and I love this conversation because to me, this shows what this organization does and what we care about. We care about people who are in love with our sport, people that we want to introduce the sport to, those who may be coming back to the sport. And of course, in order to be able to do that, we need the facilities, we need the courts, we need to help the providers. So I really do feel like this is an opportunity, although it's an absolutely horrible situation, but it's an opportunity for people to learn even more about the heart of our organization. So I think that's number one, is that we're here for the players and the providers to say, we want to help you get back on those courts, and we're going to do whatever we can to do that. The other thing that I always, one of my lines is always that tennis is the best medicine. I've been saying it for the last couple of years, and it not only physically, mentally, socially. And so through this fund, we do want everyone to be able to get back out on the courts, especially with what they're having to go through. And the third thing, I thought about is, we're talking about people of all ages, kids, adults, the seniors like me. Want to provide to everybody, plus the economic impact on a community that, again, to help out the providers. Everybody, thinks about the hospitality industry that obviously was significantly hit, but I also think about the providers in our sport. So we really want to be there to support them and show what our organization can do.
I love that you touched on the providers and also the players. We refunded, I think I sent out 70 some checks yesterday. I mean, we've refunded so many of our league players, which are so important to keep that vibrant tennis system. And then we've also heard from providers who, are struggling. And I know our friends at USPTA are working on a virtual job fair. So there's really a lot of efforts coming together. I appreciate you mentioning that. This next question is really for both of you, and it's kind of gets to the heart of this podcast. Can each of you talk a little bit about the current efforts we're undertaking to raise funds? So we've got the fund out there. What are we doing to actually put some money in it? And, Donn, I'll come to you first, and maybe you guys can trade off and on.
Sure. Like you said, we reinstated the fund. I'll say it again. It's USTA Florida Foundation /Hurricane Relief. So anybody watching this podcast can go there and donate. But we're not just obviously relying on that. We have some events scheduled at our annual meeting. One is a concert where all the proceeds will go into this fund. And we're actually looking to very heavily promote the fund through social media, through our normal avenues, so that we can put enough money into the fund that we can help as many facilities as possible.
And I know, Dana, you're excited for this upcoming benefit concert. So you want to talk a little bit about that and some of the fun we're going to have next week?
I would love to. Well, first of all, y'all don't want to see me dance. It is all about raising the money. But if you will pay me, to do
donate, and maybe Dana will dance.
We'll do it. But I'm real excited. Our incoming president, some of you may know, Phil Girardi, is an actual rock star. And his band is coming back together to do this for us at no cost. And truly for all the money to go to the hurricane relief. And we're going to have other, fun things going on in terms of, you can contribute and get a fabulous t-shirt. There are going to be other things going on at the annual meeting. And we're going to be, Donn and I are going to be walking around, getting up on stage, letting people know where we are in our fundraising and where we want to be to really keep everybody enthused. But I agree with Donn. I really see this as a great kickoff for it, but this isn't going to be a one and done. This is going to be a continued effort. And Laura, I'm glad you brought up the leagues, because when I think about the leagues, listen, we are here for you. And again, the concert is just the beginning.
Donn, I know your board is discussing, and probably will have more discussions about some of the ways that we can distribute the funds. So do you want to talk a little bit about the meetings you have coming up and sort of what types of things y'all will be discussing on that side?
Sure. Well, it's likely that we will be using our standard grant system for these to distribute these funds. We're going to be talking about that over we actually have 2 meetings before we'll actually put that in place, so that we'll have plenty of time to put that in place. But we want to make it easy for people to access these funds. We obviously have to be good stewards of these funds, but we'll make it as easy as possible for people to access these funds, and we'll do it as quickly as possible. We can't afford to lose tennis facilities across the state of Florida. With the growth of the number of tennis players in Florida right now, the last thing we want to do is lose tennis courts. So we want to get them back in shape as quickly as possible.
And Dana, I know our board is going to have some upcoming conversations on this and maybe even with our partners. So do you want to talk a little bit about that too?
I would. I mean, again, both boards are totally in on this. Our board will be discussing in the upcoming meetings, matching funds, what we can do, maybe some things that the foundation does on one path that we go on another path that we're able to do, again, to make, like Donn said, the funds getting out there as easily as possible, but being a good steward with them too. And the other exciting thing is that USTA, our national partner, is very much involved in this and is going to be partnering with this. And I think, again, to let tennis players know and non-tennis players know that, it's not just about putting on tournaments. That's a minuscule part of what we do. What we do is we're here to provide a sport for a lifetime, a sport that we all love. And in order to do that, though, we need courts and nets and fences and rackets, and we need to help the providers. So that's really our goal through this. And I'm excited about the partnerships coming up. I think you're going to hear more and more about that. And I appreciate you bringing up about USPTA doing the job fair.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I can't think enough. I think it came from, USPTA and also, some of their partners who do search as a professional service, and they sort of stepped in and said, hey, why don't we do this? And I think you're going to see a lot more of that. Thank you to the both of you. If I'm, hearing what we're doing right. We're spending the next month or two really working on getting our funds together so that we know we have a good amount of money that can help, make sure that tennis recovers appropriately. And then as we hit the new year, we'll have a really good plan on sort of how we get that money out there into the ecosystem. So for now, it's give if you can, help support our Florida tennis people who've been affected by giving, and then we're going to be good stewards of those dollars and make sure they go to the right place as we head into 2020. So with that, I just want to thank both of you for all the work you're doing. I know that this was like a, let's jump into action, and you both certainly did. So thank you for that. And thank you for your time on the podcast today.
Thank you, Laura.
Thanks, Laura. And everybody remember, it's USDAFloridaFoundation.com/hurricane relief. Go to that website, take a look and see how much we've raised at that point. And while you're there, any contribution is welcome.
Thank you, Donn. And for those who happen to be listening to the audio only version of this podcast, hop on over to our social media channels and also to our YouTube channel where you actually can see the full video version, and we'll put that URL on the screen for you to see, and we'll also put it in the post so you can click on it pretty easily. And stay tuned for some of our Giving Tuesday posts, which in November, we would love for you to consider making your Giving Tuesday contribution to this relief fund to help those who were affected. So more on that on our social media pages. Thanks to everyone for tuning in today. For more episodes of the Here to Serve podcast, including upcoming topics and dates, be sure to check out USTAFlorida.com/here to serve. Thanks for tuning in and have a wonderful rest of your day.